this is my motto in my life for me. I got to be amongst the top three of whatever I do. I can't settle for less. That's my self motivation. I got to be amongst the top three. If not the best, if I'm not the best, and I want to be the best, I got to be amongst the top three.
Hey, before you get into this episode, please take your time. Either look over your insurance policy because now, word of advice, all the property value in Philadelphia has at least doubled within the last 5 years. So let's make sure that you are insured for the right amount in case your house burned down or something like that. In the meantime, if you don't know how to do it, please give Jamal Talib a call so he can help you out with that. How we doing today, folks? Today on Just Convos, we're going to be talking about the insurance business. And one of the guys I found to have this conversation with me is the great Jamal Talib. And as I'm stuttering trying to remember his name that I just figured out today, believe me, I'm going to get this name thing right today. But I want to thank you for showing up today, sir.
You're quite welcome.
Oh, man, I do apologize for that earlier.
Don't worry about it.
But with all my guests, first thing I'd like to talk about is, are you from Philadelphia?
I am. I wasn't born here, but
Right.
most of my life, I came to Philadelphia when I was 5, so I've been here since then. So
Okay.
basically, I'm from Philadelphia.
Educated in the Philadelphia school
Yes.
district? What schools did you like? What high school? Let's start at high school.
I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar.
Oh,
Then I went a little bit to Edison, and that was it.
okay, my man.
And I traveled some other roads.
Oh, I see. I see. It's funny. My older sister went to Paul Laurence Dunbar. We grew up on Marvine and Diamond back in the day.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
close to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Real estate around there, it's amazing nowadays.
Yes,
But yeah, let me tell people how. Even before I met you, first time I learned about the business you're in, the insurance business, as far as being an adjuster. I was working at 332 as a laborer, and there was a guy there named guy we both know, Dante. And Dante came to me one day. We were both disgruntled because they wasn't giving us any work. So we sitting down there. We coming down there every day, 7 a.m. standing down there. And Dante like, man, Reef, I'm about to go do this thing called insurance adjusting. I said, what's that? So he got to breaking down what it is. I said, yeah, I don't think I'm doing it like that. I said, it don't sound like it make no money. I said, I'm gonna work this and I'm gonna start buying some houses. That's what I'm gonna do. I said, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna start buying me some houses. So we would talk for that probably like 2 months of our lives we'd be together. Fast forward, this is 1999 I'm talking about. So I meet you, I wanna say in 2009, 2010, when a good friend of mine that's in a certain area, he saw a building that I was trying to get rid of, introduced us, and voila, from the day I met you. And since then, we've been, you've been helping me out. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I've been swinging some things your way, and we've been doing pretty good with each other.
Sure.
So, again, man, so what made you get into that business? Like, what was the way in?
Well, it's really ironic. I have my lovely wife Cheryl sitting over there. One day she was downtown at the convention center, and they were having this here. I guess you would call it a convention down there, and they had a booth down there, and they tried to recruit her.
Okay.
At that time, she was administrator for Children's Hospital, so she didn't need a job. But she told them, "Yeah, I think my husband would be good for that."
Okay.
So she gave him my name, my number. They came home and pitched it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think it sounds like a pyramid scheme."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I felt when Dante told me. Yeah, I was like,
that sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. She said, "Well, at least go to the orientation and just listen." So I said, "Okay, all right, I'll go to the orientation." So I went to the orientation. And when I heard I went to the orientation the first week. It was so crowded that I didn't get a chance to hear the orientation.
Okay.
So I went back the following week.
Okay.
And it was crowded again.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to hear the orientation. So the presenter said, "Well, listen, since you've been here 2 weeks, I'm gonna give you a private one-on-one orientation."
Okay.
So when he gave me the orientation and I listened to him, when I listened to the whole scope of what the business was about, I said to myself, you know something? That's something I think I want to do. You telling me that people don't know about all this insurance and and the insurance companies are not giving them all the right information. They said, yes. I said, I think I want to do this here. I think I would be good at this. And so I started into the business, and I'm a pretty quick learner. All you got to do is just show me what needs to be done. Yeah. Just move out the way. That's all. So I got into the business, and I'm telling you, I've been for this same company. Now I've been in 21 years. I've been on the same company.
Was it like ABC? What
No, it's Metro Public Adjustment.
Metro Public Adjustment.
Yeah, well, we bought ABC.
ABC,
right.
yeah.
We bought them after they closed down, so we own that also. But I found that this was a necessary component within the society that people didn't know about.
Yeah, still don't.
To this day, they don't. They really don't.
They still don't. Yeah.
So it's been a good journey so far, And people ask me, well, when are you going to retire? I said, retire? What am I do to retire? I said, man,
having too much fun.
Yeah, it really is fun, for real.
Yeah,
it really is, because there's nothing the same every day.
Okay.
It's always different. And probably the most joyous part about it is that when you assist someone and help someone at the end results, that's the most gratifying about this whole business that I'm in.
Okay.
Pioneer Elite Care is committed to treating each individual with dignity and respect. We take pride in providing quality care to those who require assistance at home. Contact us now.
Excellence is our standard. Excellence is the rule. Never the exception.
PioneerEliteCare.com.
Okay.
So you was going into how most people don't know what their insurance does, like what's in their insurance policy?
Oh, they don't. Most people just know that I have insurance, and that's all I'm supposed to do.
If the house burned down, I got something.
I got something, right.
They don't know about
But it's
the
not
leak.
that simple, though.
Yeah.
Really. Mm-hmm. You can have something, but you can have something that you can take a loss on.
Okay.
Really.
I did. That's how we met.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, truthfully.
Yes.
Sidebar is that in Pennsylvania, when you have a property of a certain worth, it has to be insured, I think, up to 2 times of the cost of like if you had to rebuild it and bring it back up, especially on commercial. I think that's even on residential too. So because that little snafu, which is messed up, so if that's a law, nobody who has insurance should be allowed to even sell you insurance without it being proper like that. So when my building burnt down, the one you bought off me, what happened was we were supposed to get a check for $130,000 to rebuild the building, which was cool because the policy we had was for $180. So I'm like, man, we good. We perfectly, we ain't got no problem. And what wound up happening is I got a check for $27,000, and everything else was penalties because I didn't have the proper insurance.
Co-insurance.
Yep.
They call it co-insurance.
Which makes me say, like, the guy who sold me the policy should never been able to sell me that policy. But this is one of the things you learn when you're in business, that like, hey, so I think that's for everything, residential too, right? You got to be able to build it back up or something like that.
But even when they sell those policies to you, they have to do I would call it like a disclosure with you, explaining this. Listen, if you take this policy right here and you have a loss, this is what's going to happen. They don't explain that.
No.
They just sell you the policy, and all they want to do is sell you the policy. So if people are not aware of the type of policies they have, they can easily take a loss like you have. For example, a person can have a policy for $200,000. It can be a policy that pays ACV, which is actual cash value. House catch on fire, $200,000. Okay, it's $200,000, but you got an ACV policy. So we're going to depreciate $75,000. So now you're going to get 125. The other 75 you don't get because it's an ACV policy.
So ACV means actual
cash value.
So that means actual cash value after the fire?
When that means actual cash value after depreciation. Whereas if you would get a replacement cost value.
Yes, that's what we have now.
Replacement. Right, then you get the whole 200. That's because that's the replacement cost. That's what it costs to replace.
Oh.
But actual cash, and people don't know that. People.
Yeah, I never even knew that.
Yeah,
and maybe that's what because you know what insurance was to me when I was young. Like, I got into real estate early 20s, and all I ever did, I bought insurance because I needed this insurance for closing. That's all I ever bought insurance for.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah, I swear to you, and it was very ignorant, and I didn't know. Again, I had no one to tell me about this, that was ahead of me, because nobody was buying stuff at the rate I was buying stuff.
Right.
So it was, sometimes you had to cut corners. You didn't have to cut those corners, but it's just, let me just get this policy real fast. You know what I mean? Because I just was like, hey, I got to get this policy. So I would just get the insurance. I was always buying what the true value of the building was, meaning that, so If we bought a house that was for $10,000, when we fixed up the house worth $80,000, I thought that was cool. I didn't know it had to be more like $160.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't find it out till way later, like extremely later. So it's funny how what you learn on your journey, and now that since taxes have almost doubled, I think everybody property values probably doubled. So most people who watching this might want to get it with your brokers or whoever and up your rate, up your worth of your property before you have a fire and learn out the hard way. I don't know exactly how that works, because it's the first time this has ever happened in the city. Like property values have jumped this high so fast.
Yes, it has, and people still got the same policies that they had previously.
Exactly.
But they need to pull those policies out for real. I'm telling you, they need to pull them out, and they need to have those policies explained to them. And that's a service that I do, is a free service, right? I just look at the policies, evaluate the policies, explain the policy to them. Look at the property, say, okay, listen. Your policy is half okay, but you need to do this here to it. You need to add this onto it. You need to take this off of it. Then you'll have the right policy. If something happens, you'll be covered either way it go.
So sometimes you may go to a person. So when you pull up to a property and somebody has a problem, what insurance do you see when you're like, okay, this is good insurance, and what insurance you see you be like, oh God, like?
Well, most of the time when I confront the insurance policy, if I hear like a Now I have to explain this, because policies is one thing,
Companies another.
and company, how they pay out when there's a loss, is something separate. So let me say the thing about some good policies. State Farm has a good policy,
Okay.
right? Nationwide even has a good policy.
Yes, they do.
Chubb has one of the best policies.
Chubb?
Right.
Never heard of them.
But Chubb on an insured property is $500,000 or more. You know, so many properties
won't get Chubb. They
don't
won't get Chubb. Well, now Philadelphia got a lot of Chubb properties now. A lot of Chubb properties.
Exactly.
What about like Johnson & Johnson?
Well, Johnson & Johnson is actually,
Lords of London.
they're kind of brokerage insurance company.
Okay,
They're what they call a surplus insurance company.
Gotcha.
Most surplus insurance companies are not very, very good insurance companies.
Okay.
Because they're surpluses, and most of them are not regulated by the Pennsylvania Insurance Commission. You know, so meaning that if you have a policy that's regulated by the Pennsylvania Insurance Commission and that insurance company go under, the Pennsylvania Insurance Commission will pick up that policy and pay for that loss. But if they're not regulated, like Lords of London,
Yes.
they're not regulated by it. So if they go under,
You're done.
you're done. So, but the other thing is, insurance company typically, and this is not all insurance companies, and I'm not just here just to bash all insurance companies.
No.
It's kind of like rolling the dice in a sense of speaking.
Okay.
All insurance companies are not bad, and it's the mentality in the insurance companies. For example,
So it's the workers.
the workers, right? State Farm adjusters, I get along very well with all State Farm adjusters. I get along very well with all state adjusters, right? Even though Allstate don't have.
I've seen your hair fall out when somebody had an Allstate.
Yeah, but they don't have the best policies. That's what it is.
Okay,
they don't have the best policies. But
they said they got better though.
They've gotten better, and State Farm has got worse. So it's reversed.
It did the reverse. Yeah. Wow. So it's about the people.
It is about the people, and I think it's about the people who's running the companies. You know, the leadership has started turning over in companies. They start doing different things. But if you get the right policy, and you have a loss, which means a claim inside of your home, and you have the right policy, they have to pay for it, right?
Okay.
You just need to know what's supposed to be paid for.
Correct.
And most times what people happen, they say, well, I'm gonna call my insurance company. Well, I just need to let them know that it's not their insurance company for real. You know, the insurance company is the insurance company, and the insurance company is the insurance company of the board of directors.
Correct.
That's what the insurance company is. And they want to make the board of directors happy. So you got to know it's not your insurance company.
So that person you're calling is not. So let's just say when you got a house, let's just say the prosecutor is the prosecution for people's watching. The prosecution works for the insurance company. And you come in, you like a defense attorney, you work for the actual person.
Yes.
And your job is to, hey, let me get you as much as possible. And where the person for the insurance company is, hey, let me pay you as less as possible.
Exactly.
And then y'all meet somewhere in between there. And most of the times, if the wording is right, where a guy like you, who's a scholar in this, who's been doing this for so long, you can make sure that client gets what they need to make sure they can repair their house correctly.
Right, because typically the insurance company likes to pay 40 cents on the dollar.
Okay.
That's what they like to pay, 40 cents on the dollar. Usually with our type of services, they end up paying 90% on the dollar, you know, which is a big difference.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
We've had clients that has had claims with the insurance company. The insurance company may pay them $22,000, and we'll reopen the case, $100,000.
Wow.
Easy, easy. I mean, this is quite often. This is
Yeah, because if you don't know, you have no idea.
And most people think that, you know, well, the insurance company said this. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. One time I had a guy, and it's a very intelligent guy, and one time I was telling him, like, listen, man, like, I got a guy, he's a pretty good insurance adjuster, you got a problem here, and I think, you know, you should call him up. And he's a guy that he reads well, you know, he can understand. He was a guy, he's like a thespian. He think he can spread everything he do. And he wound up doing it. And I guess he got whatever he needed to get it done. But when he told me about it, and he's telling me that he just negotiated with the insurance company itself, as you're telling me, he might have got 45 cents on the dollar. But now you just told me that he probably left so much on the floor that he has no idea. He has no idea what he probably left on the floor.
Right.
You know, because it's things that what I learned in my life is that if I don't do it every day, I don't want no parts of it. So like, you won't catch me changing brakes on the car. I changed probably 2 windshield wipers in my whole life. You know, people laugh at me. I'm not the guy. I'm not touching no cars.
You stay in your lane.
I stay in my lane. Whatever it is I do, that's the only thing I want to do. I don't like to get in other people's lanes, because when you don't know and you get in somebody else's lane without the turning signal on, you usually make an accident. And that's what I see a lot of times when guys keep hopping in lanes that's not really their lane. You know, some people think they can figure things out, but sometimes, you know, I might gotta pay you. Let's say you got me 90%. Well, I got to give you 20% or whatever like that, or whatever the cost is, 12%, whatever. I don't
10%.
10%. Yeah, whatever it is, whatever that cost is, I'm still getting more than what I would have got from the insurance company.
Absolutely.
And this is not a loan. This is a payout. I'm going to pay nothing back to nobody. So why not maximize how much you can get? A lot of people don't look at it like that. A lot of people think they're smarter than, you know.
They do.
Smarter than business.
And believe me, insurance companies depend upon that too.
Yes.
They depend upon that.
Yeah.
Some of them now even go as far as to call the insurance company, listen, you don't need an adjuster. You know, you don't need to hire your own adjuster. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll send that guy out. And you know, most people, like my dad was telling me, man, $20,000 on a rainy Monday, you're gonna feel like most people gonna feel like they're rich when they see that. You know what I mean? So $20,000 on a rainy Monday, that's gonna get anybody unless you know what you're really supposed to be getting.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's crazy. Like I've seen a lot of mistakes in this business. One company that did surprise me though was I want to say what was that company called? Not Farmers. Travelers. Travelers one time surprised me. They had a pretty good payout. It was,
Travelers is not a bad company.
Yeah. I was surprised.
They're
They paid us out.
bad company.
They paid us out pretty good on a real bad storm one time, but they took care of us.
Yeah, Travelers is not a bad company. And you got another good company, Philadelphia Contributionship, which was the first insurance company it was in America.
Oh wow!
Philadelphia Contributionship started by Benjamin Franklin.
I had no idea. You learn something new every day.
So they're a pretty good insurance company also. It's just that you got to get the right policy, because, you know, there's basically 3 types of policies. There's 5, but there's basically 3 types of policies. There's HO1, HO2, HO3.
Okay.
You want the HO3 policy.
HO3. So
Right,
the first thing
the
you want when you go in there, like, I just want an HO3.
HO3, because HO3 cover almost anything that could happen. If you get an HO1 policy, it's going to cover 10 things. If you get an HO2 policy, it's going to cover 16 things. HO3 policy, what they do, they tell you what it don't cover, because it covers so many things. You know, so that's the policy that you want. You want an HO3 policy. And some insurance companies call them deluxe.
Okay.
And they had different names for them, but that's the kind of policy that you want.
One type of insurance I've been having a problem with lately. I have an insurance with this company. I have a policy, but I really don't like it. It's a commercial policy for a commercial building. I got a mixed use, kind of like the one I like. What's a good commercial company to get? Because it's been a fight for me to find one.
Well, they varies. Right now, we have a commercial policy by Nationwide.
Serious.
Yes, and it's a good policy. I was surprised. I was really surprised.
Wow.
They have a commercial division. Right.
And what's it like yearly? What's the price or something like that?
I think I paid for all of our units.
Oh, so you got more than one. I was just trying to get one for my building. So you put them all under one number.
I put them all under one umbrella.
So it's less. It gets cheaper when you do it like that.
It does, and plus it gives you the broader coverage. But just for one, you might end up paying maybe $3,000.
$3,000.
Yeah. It depends on
What's
what
on
the
first
structure
floor?
is, you know.
Oh, what the structure is?
Right. If it's mixed use, you know, if you got commercial and residential, you know, then you pay a little more for it.
Okay.
But I was surprised, you know.
It's crazy. I remember when mixed use was like 1,700.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 2,000.
Yeah, them days go.
Yeah, exactly. So I paid close to probably about 4,000. I'm like, man, this ain't right. I think maybe 3,500 or something like that. Whatever it is, man. I know I don't like paying it. I know when I pay it, I cringe every time I got to pay it. I'd be like, it's first of the year.
But you gotta have it. You know you gotta have it, right?
Well, it's a tax write-off, so I don't care.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
there
I
you
always
go.
say, whatever the houses take from me is what I take from the government. Either
Okay.
way. You know what I mean? The more they take from me, the more I take from them. So that's how it goes. Is I didn't make the game, I just play it. Like,
Yeah, and commercial policies are you have to be very, very careful with commercial policies because they have some serious stipulations in regards to losses. You know, for example, on any commercial building, most commercial policies, before they pay you for any damage inside that commercial building, they say there has to be an opening on the roof caused by wind or something falling into it, a tree falling into it. It has to be open before they pay for any damage inside.
wow.
Whereas on many residential policies, you can get the items inside paid for, even though they may not pay for the roof itself. They'll pay for all the damage inside.
Okay.
But not with commercial policies. You gotta have that opening. And
Gotta have an opening.
Gotta have that
Not
opening.
just a leak.
Yeah,
The leak
not just
won't
a
do
leak.
it.
No, if you got just a leak, you better just go get it fixed.
Damn. Jesus.
Yeah, so.
And you talking about a real hole, like a whole hole. Like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, a hole could be, typically, you can have an antenna can fall on the roof. You know, cause a puncture.
Okay.
That's a hole.
Okay.
You know, a tree branch, a little small tree branch can come down.
Yeah, actually, that
That's a hole.
happened like 2 years ago to me. I can't believe it because it was a rubber roof, and I'm like, yo, there's no way the tree cut through this rubber.
Oh shoot! I've seen a tree come all the way through the roof and end up in the ceiling inside the second floor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That projector, you know, I'm telling you, the projector coming down, and it's got that little point on it. Once it hit,
Boom.
it comes straight
Yeah, it
through.
went right through there. Yeah.
So it can happen.
Yeah, it definitely happened. I was like, the hole was so. I was like, man, just patch it up, man, and just melt it back up. I ain't even think nothing of it,
Man, you
man.
could have got a whole roof out of that one. Because that was the hole.
I didn't know, play. I didn't know.
See, that's the whole thing. If you don't know,
I should have called you.
Right, if you don't know, you don't know.
It was so small, nothing really. It wasn't bad. So I was like, it wasn't probably $200 and a little leak right there. So it wasn't that bad.
But here's now let me give you some more education.
Give it to me.
Here's the bad part about that. See, you patched that roof up now. So now if you have a loss to that roof, they're gonna say, well, wait a minute, you patched it up and repaired it before. We're only gonna pay you for another patch and repair. Ooh.
Yowzers.
Yeah.
No idea about that one.
Yeah. Because you already patched and repaired it. So all we gotta do is pay you for another repair. We don't gotta pay for the whole roof.
It's a vicious game.
It is. It is.
Vicious
Man.
game,
And
man.
like I said, people don't know. People don't know.
Yeah.
You know? And believe it or not, man, people get taken all of the time.
Yeah, I see. It's a vicious business. It's a vicious business. So let's double back to you a little bit though. So you've been doing this. You got successful in it, and then at one point you decided to pivot into real estate.
Yes, actually, I started the pivot came when I met you. Really, you know. And my wife and I, we have been talking about it. You know, of course, we came up with a game plan for ourselves. We said, we're gonna run hard 15 years. You know, we was younger then. So we're gonna run hard 15 years to establish ourselves.
Okay.
So how we gonna do it? You know, what we gonna do? You know, I've been in other businesses. And I've been in the vending machine business. You know, I had 100 vending machines through the city. You know,
how was that? That was like,
man, that was tedious,
it's like a rooming house.
Yeah,
like a
because
rooming
you
house
just go
every
around
day.
all these different things, you know, and collect. I'm going to the bank with like
$10,000 in
$10,000 in quarters, right?
Yeah.
But
You didn't. So then you didn't care for that.
I mean, it worked at that time. You know, that was 20-something years ago. You know, I was doing $50,000 a year just in quarters. So that worked.
So it made sense.
Yeah, it made sense at that time.
How did you get your routes and stuff like that?
I went out and I pitched it
Just went out and
myself.
talked.
I
Yeah.
went and pitched it myself. You know.
Boy, you good at that, man. I'm telling you, you good at that, boy. I don't know how you do it, man, because I'm a guy. I'm horrible in an introduction. Like I'm the worst introductor ever. But I see, man. You like it's a thing you told me one time because like even how he dressed today, this is how he always dressed. So if one day I saw him, I said, hey, man, you really can't dress like this all the time. I said, you going to mess up buildings on fire. You said, actually, you know what? I don't even want to give away the game. If you want,
You can go ahead.
So
You can go.
what you said was, you know what? Actually, this is what makes me stand out from everybody. I'm like, huh?
Exactly.
You was like, everybody else shows up with the Walmart's finest on jeans and stuff. He said, man, the way I dress, it makes me stand out. So when the people see me, they're gonna pick me out because I'm the one that look different than everybody else. And first thing I heard when you said, my dad used to always tell me, man, you gotta dare to be different. Always be different, and then being different is how you stand out. So here you go, you leverage that into your own business, and it works out perfect. I'm telling you, man. So I'm thinking about it, and when you told me that, because I got a mind that be flashing. So when you said it, I pictured the fire, and I'm looking like, yeah, that is the first guy you're gonna see. Out of everybody there, you're gonna see the guy with the
And
suit
you're gonna
on.
want to know who is that guy.
And your exact words. I was like, but that don't make sense because if you get dirt on it, you said, Sharif, the claim I'm going right coming out of a fire gonna buy me 10 new suits.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I never forgot that, and because when you said it to me, I was like, damn, that's major. That's major right there. So that when I get gems like that, that's why I like always talking to people that's been on this earth longer than me, because there's always a gem you can get from them, and it just always made me look at things different. Like, damn, this boy just gave me $1 million game right there, like boom, just right there, boom, in 1 second, and it was simple conversation that you probably don't remember telling me this, but I remember to this day when you said it to me, because it was so normal, and I was like, damn, what a flex that was.
And I know I said it to you because I do it, because I go, sometimes I go through all of our offices in the country and teach about fires, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say the same thing, that's what you just said. I tell them, because they ask me the same question, why you go dressed like that to fires? And I say the same thing to them.
It works. I'm quite sure it works.
It works, yeah. So, in fact, my wife and I were just talking to her. Just from that, I got suits now from going into fires and buying that on board that I don't even wear.
You don't wear no more to fire. Don't worry about it. They pay for themselves. I mean, you should put a number next to it. I got this much off of this suit, this much off of that suit, like, hanging in the rafters. Yeah, but that's pretty dope. So yeah, back to.
Let's get back to how we decided that we wanted to actually pivot into something else, and that's when after we met you, because we bought our first building from you, right? And my wife and I, we decided at that time, we said, well, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to buy buildings like this, just like this right here, and we're going to get one every 2 years. And until we get us maybe about 30 units. Yeah, we get 30 units, we can relax. After we get 30 units, we can just let that can be our retirement. I'm already doing the adjustment, and I'm doing very well in the adjustment. And so we decided, and then my wife, she decided to retire, from her job. So she's a good manager. She's a better manager than I am,
Hey, you always got to find out who's better at your weakness.
Yeah, she's much better.
Nobody can do everything.
Yeah, exactly. So she manages all the properties. She takes care of all of that, and I take care of the adjustment and the small construction that we do. And it's worked out very, very good for us in the last. In fact, just Saturday we just celebrated our 30th year anniversary.
So y'all been together for 30 years.
We've been married for 30 years.
I'm sorry, y'all been married for 30 years.
Well, it's about 40 years that.
40 good ones in.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's very good.
She was a young chickie then. But she's very good for me because she's good at things that I'm not good at. Organization. That's her key.
Yeah, it ain't your thing.
I just like to do.
Do and get the bread. Give me the money. Where the money at?
Exactly. And just take it in. Okay, here it is. And it works. It works out very good. So I think that people need to in their life they need to look for a game plan for their life, and they need to work toward it. And everything is not going to come easy. It's going to be bumps and ups and downs. But if you got the game plan, you need to stick to it. And if you stick to it, sure. And it's been great for us, it's been more than what we thought it would be.
More than what you imagined.
Yes,
yes,
it has.
That's decent.
Here I am today, here talking to you about this here, but
yeah.
And I love this business that I do as far as the insurance business, because I know that it's always going to be people who don't understand insurance and it's going to need the type of help that we provide. And I love doing it. And I used to do it day and night. I used to be out, I'm telling you, I used to be out all night chasing fires. All night.
So now let me guess, fire come on, you be like, maybe I will, maybe I won't.
I mostly referrals now. I don't even chase fires anymore.
You don't chase fires anymore.
Don't chase anymore, no. But I get just as many through referrals now. That's from establishing yourself and taking care of people over the years and getting them what they're supposed to get.
So having integrity.
Yes.
Integrity
absolutely.
Went a long way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not lying, not being disorganized.
Right.
All those types of things took you extremely far in this business.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So having good character.
And that's one thing. That's one thing. Character is one thing. I would tell people, you always try to live up to what you're not going to be always able to always do everything you say you can do, but just try to live up the best you can to what you say you're going to do, and try to do it. And I'm very good at what I do. I'm not a proud person. I'm not speaking from proudness, but
experience. Your track record speaks for itself.
Exactly. And I love doing it, so I'm very good at doing it. And I've established a reputation with the insurance company and insurance companies adjusters.
So when they see your name, they be like, send it on through.
Yes. Yes. So.
Oh, man. So sometimes you ever see anybody too ambitious in this business where you can see like, you're an adjuster, but you're doing a little too much. Like sometimes they, sometimes you have somebody who may come in here and just, they don't understand, as with anything, I'm quite sure it's a certain rules that you guys got to follow.
Absolutely.
And I know some guys that's probably getting to this thing and try to get too ambitious and forget that you're governed by rules in these businesses, and they think they're going to rewrite something, not knowing that you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble when you do that.
And a lot of them do.
Yeah.
A lot of them do. Because remember, we're licensed, and we have to maintain those licenses.
Yes.
We have to. There's credits that we have to take each year to stay on top of the regulations, the state regulations, the county regulations. And if you don't do that, and if you go do things contrary to that, you're gonna get yourself in trouble.
A lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
Type of trouble that once you get in, it's hard to get out.
It's hard. Yeah.
So it's not even worth it.
No.
Just
not really.
follow the rules.
And if you just stick to the game plan the way it is, you'll be fine. You don't have to. It's nothing to rewrite. It's already been written. Just need to follow it and just be successful with it. And even there are even some insurance companies and some insurance company adjusters like when we own the files because it makes it easier for them. See, because our job is that we need to put together an estimate of the damages before they even come.
Okay.
So when they meet us there, we're supposed to have estimate of the damages and give them a copy of it and then walk them through. When I meet adjusters now, all they ask, well, I guess it's probably insurance companies won't be listening to this. So
yeah, I got you though. But they see you, be like, "Oh, it's you? Give me that.
Give me that.
See you later."
Exactly.
I got you.
Let me take some photos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't do their job, but they'll know that you are because of your reputation precedes yourself.
Yes.
They know they don't have to go in there. Everything is on the up and up.
Scrutinize things, right?
That's beautiful, man.
It
reputation is everything, folks. Keep a good reputation. You can go far in this world.
Yes, it is. And I pride myself in that with the adjusters. That's why I keep saying, I keep telling my coworkers, I said, listen, we're not adversaries, man. We just there to get a job done, and get the job done the best way it is. And the best way it is to communicate with the adjusters and get it done.
Oh man, that's a good thing, man. So if people ever want to contact you, as far as like get in contact with you, how would they contact you if they ever want to look over their policy or they might have a problem in the house? How would they get in contact with you?
Well, they can contact me two ways. They can contact me directly by cell at 484-325-1120, or they could email me at J as in James, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, L as in Larry, I as in Idaho, B as in boy at hotmail.com. And that's a free service. It doesn't cost them one penny for me to come out to evaluate their policy, to give them advice. It doesn't cost them anything. I'll be more than glad to do it.
So my last question before we wrap it up, because of what you have done in the insurance adjusting company, you got grandkids and stuff like that. You just was telling me before we turned on cameras, you had a grandchild and he's about to go to, they say, Grandpa, what should I do? Should I go to college? Should I go be an adjuster? Should I go on construction? Should I go get a trade? What should I do? Because they tell you, I really don't know what I want to do yet. What would you suggest to that young person?
First I would ask them, what do you want to do? To find out first, right?
The youngsters now going to say,
I don't know. They don't know.
I don't know.
They don't know. All right. But education is important too.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't play down education. Education is very, very important. However, it is not a necessity nowadays.
Yeah, if you're not dedicated to the education, you're about to waste somebody's money.
Yeah, because I've seen people who have college degrees and
wind up in maybe the same place you had or the same place,
lesser.
Less. I'm saying like, so you could have just went straight into adjusting and kind of.
You could have.
And kind of skipped the $40,000 in debt.
But you just need to be dedicated to whatever you're going to do.
So without dedication, none of it going to work.
No, it's not going to work. And I always say, listen, this is my motto in my life for me. I got to be amongst the top 3 of whatever I do. Myself, I can't settle for less. That's my self-motivation. I got to be amongst the top 3. If not the best, if I'm not the best, and I want to be the best, I got to be amongst the top 3.
Now, how long did it take you to become part of the top 3 in the insurance company?
Oh, it only took me 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years, maybe less than that, because I jumped out the door running. I was very enthusiastic. I jumped out the door running. Yeah, and it's been good, you know. But it takes some patience because, you know, in the beginning, I spent a lot of time away from home. You know, like all night running fires.
Yeah.
So that, you know, so
Causes stress in the relationship.
it does. But my wife, I mean, she was patient in it. So I guess she had the vision
She know
too.
she know who you were.
Yeah,
She know who you were. She said he gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming out, man.
Hey, man,
Always
it's
a
my
pleasure,
pleasure,
Mr.
man.
Jamal Talib.
Yes.
I'm glad you came on here, and I'm glad you wasn't scared of these cameras, man. A lot of people like to talk in front of these cameras, man.
Yeah, I'm not scared. That's a fact, man. The people need to know. So thank you for inviting me.
All right.
All right.
Always check us out. You know what to do. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Just Convos. Goes on Instagram, Just Convos 2012. Check us out. You can see some behind the scenes. Of course, you'll see me messing up somebody's name again. I don't know what's up with me and these names. I'm working on it though, folks. But always check in. Thank you for watching it. Have a good one.